The sun was setting over Granada. Its golden walls glowed, proud and defiant. Yet behind those walls, whispers of fear spread like wildfire. No one expected this. Centuries of culture, learning, and power were on the brink of collapse. A city that had thrived for hundreds of years, filled with scholars, poets, and architects, was about to face an ending no one could stop. The streets, once alive with music, markets, and laughter, now echoed with uncertainty. Every alley, every tower held stories of ambition, betrayal, and hope. But that's not the worst. A foreign army, patient and relentless, advanced with a plan that would forever change the fate of Muslim Spain. How could a civilization so rich, so advanced, fall so quickly? What mistakes, what choices led to this historic turning point? Tonight, Granada holds its breath. The stage is set. The players are ready. And the story about to unfold is more than a battle. It is the collapse of an era. Imagine standing on the ramparts as the last light fades. The scent of jasmine mingles with tension in the air. Horses drum on cobblestones. The future is uncertain, and you are about to witness history unravel before your eyes. Centuries before Granada's fall, Al-Andalus shone as a jewel of knowledge and culture. Cities sparkled with marble palaces, intricate mosaics, and bustling marketplaces. Scholars debated philosophy, astronomers charted the stars, and poets wrote verses that echoed through the ages. Granada, perched atop hills and cradled by the Sierra Nevada mountains, was the last beacon of Muslim rule in Spain. Its walls had withstood sieges, its rulers had negotiated with kings and empires, and its people had lived in relative peace, despite the shifting tides of war. Yet, behind the grandeur, tension simmered. Kingdoms in the north had united under Christian banners. Political alliances were fragile. The Nasrid rulers, wise yet cautious, faced enemies both outside and within. Every decision carried weight. One mistake could shatter centuries of stability. Imagine the streets of Granada, artisans shaping delicate tiles, merchants haggling in the marketplace, children chasing each other through narrow alleys. Music floated from the Alhambra, a melody of hope and pride. But shadows lingered. Spies whispered of armies marching south. Envoys brought demands, ultimatums, and veiled threats. The world was changing, faster than anyone could predict. Europe was rising, armies growing larger and more organized. Granada stood as a cultural paradise, but its walls were not enough to stop the tides of ambition. Among its people were visionaries and dreamers, scholars and soldiers, each unaware of how quickly their lives would shift. Decisions made in the council chambers, in whispers in the gardens, would ripple outward with devastating consequences. But even as the city thrived, the specter of conquest loomed. The stage was set for a confrontation that would decide not just the fate of a city, but the legacy of an entire civilization. Picture Granada at dusk, the Alhambra glowing, towers reaching skyward, the river reflecting amber light. Yet beyond the hills, banners of advancing armies flicker in the wind. The calm is fragile, temporary, and the story about to unfold will shatter it. The horizon darkened with the banners of the Christian armies, advancing steadily toward Granada. Their numbers were overwhelming, disciplined, and relentless. Siege engines rumbled over rocky terrain, carrying the promise of destruction. Inside the city, panic whispered through the streets. Guards tightened their grips on swords, archers took positions along the walls, and council chambers buzzed with urgent debates. Each decision was a gamble with lives and legacies at stake. King Boabdil, the young ruler of Granada, paced in the Alhambra. His mind was a storm of strategy, fear, and hope. Advisors argued over alliances, surrender, and resistance. Every hour brought new letters, new demands, and new threats. Could Granada survive the tides closing in from all sides? The first skirmishes erupted outside the city walls. Cavalry clashed with scouts in the dusty plains, arrows darkening the sky. The sound of hooves, swords, and cries echoed across the hills, carrying news of the enemy's relentless advance. Granada's defenders fought bravely, yet they were vastly outnumbered. Meanwhile, the citizens faced the harsh reality. Markets emptied, supply lines were cut, and the nights were filled with uncertainty. Families huddled in homes, whispering prayers and holding loved ones close. Scholars paused their work, artisans abandoned their craft, and musicians silenced their instruments. The heartbeat of the city slowed. Tensions within the Nasrid court grew. Factions questioned Boabdil's leadership. Advisors plotted their own paths to survival, some considering betrayal, others demanding surrender. Trust became scarce. Suspicion poisoned even the closest alliances. And yet, Granada resisted. Towers held against battering rams. Archers rained arrows on invaders, defenders leapt into the fray, and hope clung stubbornly to every stone of the city walls. But with every passing day, the enemy drew closer, tightening the noose. Imagine the scene from above. Smoke curling from siege fires, the river glinting under a blood-red sunset, the Alhambra standing proud yet vulnerable. The clash of steel and the cries of the fallen blend with the tension hanging over every street. No one in Granada could predict who would emerge victorious or who would fall first. A cold wind swept through Granada, carrying whispers of betrayal. Inside the Alhambra, tensions reached their peak. Advisors and generals exchanged hushed warnings, their faces etched with worry. The city's fate hung by a thread. King Boabdil faced a choice that would echo through history: continue a valiant defense or negotiate surrender to save lives. Every option carried peril. Every decision could shatter the legacy of centuries. Outside the walls, the Christian army tightened its grip. Siege towers loomed like giants, battering rams threatened the gates, and catapults rained destruction. The city's once mighty walls groaned under relentless assault. Then came the unexpected. A faction within Granada secretly opened negotiations with the enemy. Letters were passed under moonlight, promises whispered in shadowed corridors. The enemy was patient, strategic, and cunning. They did not just attack with weapons, they attacked with deception, fear, and uncertainty. Rumors spread like wildfire. Could the city survive if its own defenders faltered? Civilians whispered of hidden deals and secret betrayals. Fear and doubt gnawed at the hearts of soldiers and citizens alike. The very foundations of Granada's resistance were shaken. Amidst this tension, Boabdil made a fateful decision. He rode to the walls at dawn, looking over the city he loved and the enemy forces that surrounded it. Pride, grief, and desperation collided in his chest. Every citizen's hope and fear rested on his shoulders. The battlefield outside and the palace within seemed to hold their breath. History was poised to pivot on a single moment, a single choice. The question lingered. Would Granada survive this siege, or would centuries of culture and power crumble under the weight of conquest and human ambition? Picture the scene. The sun rises over smoke-filled valleys, banners ripple in the morning breeze, and the Alhambra stands silently, a city on the edge. The future is uncertain, and every heartbeat feels like a drum of war. The moment of truth has arrived. The sun set over Granada one final time as the city's walls, though still standing, felt hollow. Silence replaced the once vibrant streets, and a somber hush fell over the Alhambra. Centuries of culture, learning, and artistry had reached their fragile conclusion. King Boabdil, weary and heartbroken, made his way through the gates. The city had survived physically, yet its autonomy, pride, and spirit were broken. The banners of the Christian conquerors now flew over Granada, signaling the end of an era. Every street, every tower, every courtyard told a story of endurance, bravery, and heartbreak. Scholars who once filled libraries with knowledge packed their memories and fled. Families abandoned homes that had sheltered generations. The market squares, once alive with color and life, lay quiet. Yet even in defeat, Granada left a legacy. Its architecture, poetry, and philosophy would inspire generations to come. The lessons were clear. Power is fragile. Alliances can shift like sand. And even the strongest civilizations can fall if history's currents change course. The collapse was not sudden. It was shaped by years of political maneuvering, military pressure, and human choices. Boabdil's decision to surrender preserved lives but could not save a kingdom. History, relentless and impartial, had claimed its due. Imagine standing at the Alhambra at dusk. Shadows stretch across marble floors. The scent of orange blossoms lingers in the air, and the wind carries whispers of centuries past. Granada is quiet now, but its story resonates across time, a reminder of glory, loss, and the fleeting nature of power. Granada's story is more than a city's fall. It is a lesson about ambition, resilience, and the fragile nature of civilizations. Every stone, every tower, every whisper of the past reminds us that even the brightest cultures can be undone by human choices and the march of history. Look beyond the walls and imagine the lives forever changed. Families scattered, scholars displaced, dreams deferred. And yet their legacy lives on, in art, in poetry, in the architecture that still inspires awe centuries later. History is relentless. It shows us triumph, tragedy, courage, and regret, all intertwined. Granada reminds us that greatness can rise and fall in the blink of a generation, and that even in loss, stories endure. So, what does Granada teach us today? That culture, knowledge, and human spirit can outlast armies and rulers, that the choices of a few can shape the destiny of many, that even in defeat, beauty, wisdom, and history remain eternal. Imagine standing atop the Alhambra as the wind whispers through its arches. The past surrounds you, heavy with memory, yet alive with lessons. The city may have fallen, but its story will never fade. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to subscribe to History Hub for more cinematic stories, comment your thoughts below, and share this story with those who love history.